तेलंगाना सरकार में गृह मंत्री श्री नायन नरसिम्हा रेड्डी जी, आपका पर्यवेक्षक D.R. डोले बर्मन मैडम, आंध्र प्रदेश सरकार में मंत्री डॉक्टर श्रीनिवास जी जो हमारे बीच में बैठे हैं, और आज का इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित सभी अधिकारी, हमारा पड़ोसी देश नेपाल, मालदीव्स, भूटान से आए हुए सभी ट्रेनीज और शिक्षार्थी मित्रों, at the outset I warmly welcome you all, the young IPS officers, to the Indian Protection Scheme. IPS, according to me, is India Protection Scheme. That is IPS. I compliment all of you for making it to the elite Indian police service after succeeding in one of the toughest selection process. You are among the finest talent of our country. You are now being groomed for leadership roles in ensuring internal security of our country, integrity, professionalism and services. Integrity, professionalism and services, IPS. Orientation shall be the motto for all of you as you gear up for these responsibilities and challenging roles. Internal security lays the essential foundation for the prosperity of our nation by ensuring a stable socio-economic environment. If there is tension, there cannot be attention towards development. The responsibility lies on your shoulders to see that there is no tension. Of course, policy decisions are taken by politicians. But as officers in charge of security, it is our duty. And secondly, progress is not possible without peace. Peace is the prerequisite for any progress. Otherwise, as I told you, there will be diversion. And country also is facing some problems on that account. Friends, this is a great opportunity for you because you are going to shoulder the great responsibility, which is very challenging. Not only IPS, 7 other Central Armed Police Forces also, that is Central Reserve Police Force, Border Security Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, Central Industrial Security Force, Sahastra Security Bal, National Security Guards and Assam Rifles. Huge opportunities and challenges lie ahead of you on the completion of your training at this prestigious training institute named after the unifier of India, the great Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. No country can ignore its heroes or legendary personalities who shaped its destiny. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was one such iconic hero who shaped India's destiny in a far-reaching way with a single-minded devotion. Soon after attaining independence, he fashioned the country's political integration with the swiftness of a military commander and the deftness of a visionary leader. Present-day India owes in immeasurable debt of gratitude to the vision, tact, diplomacy and pragmatic approach of Sardar in preventing balkanization of the country and merger of more than 560 princely states with the Union of India in the wake of partition of our country. What makes this stupendous integration most remarkable is that it was achieved without any bloodshed. Adopting different approaches as warranted by the situation, he gave friendly advice in some cases, persuaded the rulers to see reason in other cases, and even used force, as in the case of Hyderabad, where we are all now. When one looks back after so many years, that strikes us as remarkable is the fact that Sardar Patel achieved a unified India at a time when the rulers of the princely states were given the option of joining either India or Pakistan or remaining independent. While leaving the country also, British people played that trick. They have given this option. Can you imagine a state like Hyderabad being part of another country? And then what will happen to the unity of the country. But still, as I told you, with deftness, he dealt with the situation, persuaded the princes, made them to understand the consequences, created proper atmosphere in the country, and also evolved a scheme without bloodshed. That's the greatness of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. That's why we call him as unifier of India and the Iron Man of India. But for him, you can't even imagine what would have happened to the India at that time after the partition. Because the Britishers also accept the theory that all religions cannot live together. That was a wrong notion. And we, Indian people, we never believe on the basis of a religious leadership governing the polity of the country. Religion is a way of worship. Culture, which we all feel proud, is a way of life. So we should never mix religion and culture. And these religious differences were brought in by those foreign colonial rulers to weaken us, to cripple us. And we are seeing the effect of it also nowadays. Also, some people, when there is some internal problem, they try to bring in religion to further their own commitment for wrong causes. Even terror, we are seeing terror has no religion. But the terrorism is the biggest threat to the humanity. And no religion preaches terror. All religions, if you go through their texts, the teachings and preachings of those great people who founded or propounded those philosophies, none has preached terror. But people take shelter under religion and try to provoke people and then try to justify their actions. That's one challenge before us today in the country. After he was made in charge of the State Department, he emphasized that, I quote, the safety and preservation of these states as well as of India demand unity and mutual cooperation between its different parts. By common endeavor, we can raise the country to a new greatness, while lack of unity will expose us to fresh calamities. He cautioned at that time. See his foresight and the vision. Undoubtedly, Sardar Patel was the greatest unifier of India. Perhaps there is no parallel in modern history to what was achieved by him. Acknowledging the monumental contribution of Patel in nation building, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had this to say, quote, history will call him the builder and consolidator of new India, unquote. His vision for a united India also saw the creation of All India Administrative Services, which he described as the steel frame. In his address to the probationers, he asked them to be guided by a real spirit of service in their day-to-day administration and reminded them of the saying regarding ICS that it was neither Indian nor civil nor imbued with any spirit of service. The service created by the foreigners. A civil servant cannot afford to and must not take part in politics, nor must he involve himself in communal wrangles. To depart from the path of rectitude in either of these respects is to debase public service and to lower its dignity. He has cautioned them on April 21st, 1947. See the foresight also, how things are going to happen. He cautioned before. It is unfortunate that there has been no proper recognition of the monumental contribution made by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and his legacy in unifying the country at its most critical juncture in the history. I don't want to get into politics. I was a politician, of course, but I am no more in politics. I have retired from politics, but not tired from public service. That's why I am here in front of you. But the fact of the matter is that the life of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is the inspiration for all of us. His teachings and preachings will guide us, not only now, for future also. The vision he had in creating these services, see how these services are created, how these powers and responsibilities are given to these services, whether it is Indian Administration Service or Indian Police Service. What was the vision behind that? And then act accordingly. Friends, I feel that the life and history of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel should be part of our history books and should be taught to all the children, because a generation which forgets its history can never move forward. Culture and history must be always kept in mind, and we must always feel proud for the same. It gives me immense pleasure to address you today. I see in you the sparks of enthusiasm, energy, commitment, and sincerity to serve the people of our great democracy. We are one of the great democracies of the world, largest parliamentary system, and we have proved that democracy is the best way of administration and the best system, and a bullet can never solve the problems. Only ballot will resolve all the issues. That has been proved beyond doubt. That's why these outdated theories like Naxalism and other extremism, who believes in the barrel of the gun getting power, it will get power for time being. But at the end of it, you use the gun, you will become victim of the same. This is what is happening. That's why so many people lost their lives of a mindless ideology, so-called mindless ideology. Because in democracy is the best forum where you can articulate, you can educate, you can agitate, and then protest, and at the end of the day, you can win over the people. And then rule the country, take the administration. If you believe in your policy, in your ideology, this is the best way available. And this has to be really also made understandable to the people of the country. Unfortunately, people are afraid of these forces. Sometimes that is happening. Political class. Officers are not afraid. And the political class do not give enough power or moral support. It is difficult for the officers to fight those forces. And if there is frequent change of policy and attitude towards such forces, then it's very difficult to carry on the mandate that's given to you. I am aware of it. That's why we have to create enough awareness among the people also. Society also must stand by the forces which are fighting for the unity and integrity and safety and security of our people. That has to be made understandable to the people. I see, as I told you, a bright future because you are being shaped as a police professional by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy, which is named after one of the greatest sons of our nation, who was among the tallest of the builders of modern India and its federal polity. This is the best institution I can say in the country. I have been to a number of institutions. As far as the police force is concerned, this is the best academy in the country. I have been here earlier also. I interacted with different batches also. And the best service, best training is provided here. You must all people utilize this opportunity and then trying to shape your future and thereby the future of the country. As a new entrance to the Indian Police Service, you inherit a past issued with the examples of great courage, valor, and sacrifice of thousands of policemen and women. This glorious past should motivate you further to discharge your duties with firmness, selflessness, commitment, and dedication. Our countrymen will look upon to you, your attention to their varied needs and problems. Our country is identified by ethnic, religious, and cultural diversities, which is surely a source of both strength, but may also lead to centrifugal tendencies if not handled sincerely and sensitively. That's the problem. The ethnic disturbances, erosion of inter-community relations, insensitivity towards the other faiths, disrespect to the value of human beings are of the major concerns for us. Your role becomes very vital to control proactively the communal forces in our country by affecting the unity and who are affecting our unity and integrity. Since independence, our country has traversed a long path to present status of being recognized as a major world power. The journey has by no means been smooth, and the challenges ahead shall by no means be small. The police forces, both state and central, shall play a central role in this stride. Unfortunately, politics gets into religion. Unfortunately, religion gets into politics. That complicates the matter. Otherwise, left to themselves, citizens would always love to live together. Because they all believe the philosophy of the country is Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Vasudaika Kutumbam. The entire universe is one. That is the philosophy of this great land. And you know, my friends, I have been telling all, particularly the youngsters, India was recognized as Vishwa Guru once upon a time. People from abroad the globe, they used to come and read here, Nalanda, Takshashila. And even great historians like Pahian, Huansong, even belonging to China, they came to India, wrote very high about India. The reason is because of the civilization, which was given to us by our forefathers. They have made an exemplary living. And the GDP of the country, for some of you it may be news, the GDP of the world, 1/4 of the GDP of 27% of the world GDP used to come from India before invasion, before independence. 27% of the world GDP was from India. On one side, Viswaguru. On the other side, such huge GDP, economic strength. But India has no history of attacking anybody. Go through the history. Every small Tom, Dick and Harry came on us, attacked us also, looted us, sometimes even cheated our minds also. I don't want to name any country, now it's part of history. But our country, with all these resources, with all this great civilization, we never attacked anybody because we don't believe in that. We don't believe in that. Even when you go nuclear, that is for self-defense. So that's the philosophy of the country. So people are by and large okay, but politicians they try to, because politically, if you want to come up in political, you must have character, caliber, capacity and conduct. 4 C's. Character, caliber, capacity and conduct. That not only applies to politicians, applies to all also, including you people. But politicians, some politicians, I don't say all, some politicians are now trying to have shortcut methods instead of 4 C's, 3 C's they are using. What is that 3 C's? One, caste. Second is community. Third is cash. To circumvent the service. The result is social tensions here and there. Result is distorted, disrupted public life. So we have to be extra careful, keep that angle also in mind. And if some people make statement and then they take cover and political leader that I am an elected man, so what? Elected man has to be more responsible while making speeches. You have no business and license to make inflammatory speeches and take shelter under religion. This has to be understood. And law must be applied equally to all, and more particularly to politicians. I am very clear about it. Of course, this has to be followed by political leadership of the country and the state at various levels. And all political parties also should remember this. The friends, as I told you, in today's world, internal security and national security are intrinsically linked and part of the same set. National security cannot be ensured without peace and stability within our own borders. This fact situates the role of policemen as central in national security. Furthermore, good policing is essential for a vibrant democracy. Police should not be visible. And you may wonder, sir, without being visible, how can we deliver our duty? The fear of law must prevail. So-and-so officer is there, no nonsensical approach, tough, the message goes. I remember, I think, in my district, Nellore, there used to be an officer from Gujarat, Jaspal Singh. The very name brought law and order under control. Hearing about him. Hearing about him, of course, those days comparatively, I became MLA some 40 years back. I think this day my result was announced. Election was on 28th. Result was announced this day, or yesterday evening, I don't exactly remember. 40 years back, 1978, February, between 25th and 28th. Those days, political values were different. Now also, we are seeing some changes. But at the same time, you must be committed to your duty. That duty brings the beauty. And then you can make the country mighty, system mighty. Worship the work. That's all, nothing else. Work, worship the work. Worshipping God is different, worshipping the parents is different, worshipping Guru is different. But worship the work, then you will excel. And you will make a place. The Good policing is essential for a vibrant democracy. The democratic polity today, in addition to the basic needs, also demands good policing. This is a very healthy sign, and it emanates from the realization that there is a strong positive correlation between the quality of policing and the pace of development. Social order, peace, and tranquility are essential prerequisites for progress and development. The biggest threat to our country faces today is terrorism, be it Jammu and Kashmir, Northeast, or even Naxalism. Police forces have been at the centers of India's response to counter this multi-headed monster. While the state response should be strong and appropriate, experience shows that there are numerous challenges. While there cannot be any compromise on security, we have to ensure freedom to the people at the same time. This time has come when use of force by police has to be circumscribed by the ideas of rule of law. Whatever be the provocation, policing by consent should be the roadmap for the future. Nudging the people on the fringes of criminality to become law-abiding citizens and taking exemplary action against the habitual and repeat offenders should be the order of the day. This is the quality of policing that people expect today. This demand for good policing, while challenging, which is challenging for you today, is also an opportunity for you and the young leaders of the police force. Crime against women and children are a great cause for concern. You are required to address these crimes with heavy hand and with utmost care, sensitivity towards the victims. Other problems related to atrocities on scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and other vulnerable sections of society need to be dealt with sensitivity. When there was a discussion in Parliament about this Nirbhaya Act, people were saying, bring Nirbhaya Act. Some people say, bring some other act. After mere bringing act or mere bringing a bill will not suffice. What is required is a bill, political will, and administrative skill. That alone is the solution. Passing a law is not going to solve the problems. We have enough experience, and we have enough laws also. Implementation, sincerity, political will, that is also required along with the skill of you people. The will and skill will kill all the evils. That's the way forward. The politicians at the national level, at the state level, in the administration, they should all understand this, and they must all have that commitment. We must also interact frequently with the society. Guide them from time to time. The police officers also must interact more and more with the people. Keep an honorable distance from politicians. Now, I'm not saying that don't meet them at all. They are elected representatives. But at the same time, we have to interact with the people, different groups, different associations. Dialogue, education, counseling is very much necessary. The students, for example, they are unguided missiles. If you interact with them, many of the problems will be solved. I will tell you one personal example. I remember now another police officer. His name is Mr. Saranyan. Saranyan, he was later in IB also, in the government of India, one of the finest officers. When I was a student, we used to conduct agitations. Those days, agitations only. Then there was an increase of hotel fares. The rates of idli, sambar, and vada, pongal were hiked. So we were taking positions. And while taking positions also, after getting some time, you get exhausted, what else to do? Then we came across a hotel. Hotel's name was Himalaya, Hotel Himalaya. Then we started shouting, the rates which have reached Himalaya, they must be brought down, come down like that. Then we went in front of another hotel, Ooty. Then we started, it's not Ooty, it's Rooty. That sort of slogans and all. Even then, boys became more and more aggressive and all. Then started pelting stones. Some RTC buses were going. Then some buses' windscreens were damaged. And then news. Some 5 RTC buses' windscreens were damaged. This happened, that happened and all. So people, we thought our profession, our agitation has become very successful. Next day, I got a message from the superintendent of police that he wanted to meet me. He called me. So I was really a little concerned by why SP is calling me, superintendent of police. Then I went to him. He made me to sit. He was very affectionate, very friendly. And then he started interacting with me and then told me, Mr. Naidu, your cause was right. Good. And your position also was very good. Some of the slogans you made also were very good. But only one thing is not good. I said, sir, what? When they throwing stones on buses, what is the advantage? I said, sir, because of that, today see the newspapers, headlines, 99. He said, by throwing stone at RTC bus, you are hitting your parents. I said, how can my parents be hit, sir? It will be affecting transport minister, chief minister and all. He said, transport ministry is not going to lose even a pie. What will happen? The result will be all these losses, damages will be put into the budget, and then next year there will be revision of bus fares, and bus fares will be increased, and you will be the loser. Your parents will be the loser. You may not understand now. He explained to me. Friends, I must tell you, young friends, that has changed my course of future. I realized it because he was such an affectionate manner. He gave me some nasta, then interacted with me. What are your plans? What do you want to do? Do you want to go to politics? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? All this very, very friendly, casual, affectionate advice he has given to me. And they have kept a frequent contact with me. He said, if you want to show your strength, mobilize more people. Not violence, not destruction, not obstruction. And he also told me, you know, how Japan and other countries, they protest. I said, what? He said, if the schedule is between 10 to 5, they will work up to 6. I said, sir, 6 means? That is the way of protest, he said. I said, sir, in India, if you work up to 6, then they will harass you further so that you can work up to 7. No. This is what Gandhian philosophy is. It will definitely have effect on the society. Friends, from the beginning, I was a little ferocious, very vocal, little aggressive also. But that gentleman, that officer's advice has changed my future course. Changed my future course. Later I became MLA, I was very aggressive in the assembly. But he said, be aggressive, at the same time be progressive also. Don't leave your seat. Assembly is not a Talim Khana or boxing center. You have to argue your case effectively. He used to keep in touch with me later also. He became one of the senior officers. His son also is an IAS officer now in Tamil Nadu. His name is, I think, some Krishnan or something. Why I am telling you this is counseling in the modern day, when evil effects of TV, cinema, other sides of media are having influence on the minds of the children, on the minds of the society. And then when people, parochial forces or vociferous tendencies are on the rise, the best way is to interact with the people, educate the people, try to take the people along with you, at least the larger sections, if not all. That's my advice. I can tell you, this is going to solve many of the problems. Because in our country, the problem is, one is a so-called wrong ideology, like Naxals. Another one is mixing religion and politics. That's another problem we are facing. The third one is one of our neighbor is aiding, abetting, funding, training terrorists continuously. In spite of all this, every day, you see how many sharings are there on the LOC. How they try to send people inside and then create problems in Hyderabad. You have heard about Hyderabad blast. You have heard about Coimbatore blast. You have heard about blast. Kashmir is okay. That is border. But here also, Pakistani elements were there. So this is a complex situation which is emerging. We must segregate these people, such forces, from the general public. Should not allow them to exploit the people's sentiment on the basis of religion, on the basis of region, on the basis of some other cause. And these forces, which are inimical to India, they are all cooperating among themselves. So we must also keep a watch on what is happening in our neighborhood. That is also very much important. So I suggest to you is, one, study the life of the people. Study the life of the people. That is the best education I can tell you. I come from a very ordinary background. I am son of a farmer. None in my family were in politics. Not even much educated. I used to walk 3 kilometers a day to go to school. And used to come back and read under lantern. There is no electricity. Working hard, and from there to here, no shortcut. No shortcut. except one top position, I have achieved everything. Achieved everything. The reason is, I have studied the people. That is my strength. I covered more than 600 districts in the country. As party general secretary, as party president, as rural development minister, as urban development minister, most of the time I used to go around, spend time, meeting the people, greeting the people, talking with the people, walking with the people, eating with the people. That gives you immense knowledge of understanding what is what, how the society is functioning, who is who. And that gets you also more authority, because people know this man knows everything. And also, we must also try to learn as many languages as possible. You are in All India service. You go to Tamil Nadu and you try to speak to him in Hindi or even in English also. How many people understand? You go to interior, the North India, and then you try to speak in English. It will not have any effect. And then you need a Dubashi. Whether that Dubashi will be real Dubashi or he will be adding something of his own, we don't know. So we must try to learn as many languages. First, I always feel, I tell everybody should master his mother tongue first. And then, because the ideas, thoughts will first generate in mother tongue. And then translate them into other languages. That is what is required. And people's language, wherever you go, you must try to pick it up at the earliest. At the earliest, because you have chosen to be part of this service. And if you are able to have a dialogue with the people, some of the problems can be solved. This is my advice to you. And then also our country's vulnerability to cyber crime is also escalating as our economy and critical infrastructure is becoming increasingly reliant on independent computer networks and the internet. Large-scale computer attacks on our critical infrastructure and economy can have potential devastating results. Train yourself to develop competence in handling cyber crimes intelligently. And we have to learn from others also. There is a saying, crude saying in India, that wise men learn from others' experience and fools learn from their own experience. We are all wise men. That's why you have chosen this course. We must try to learn from others' experience. That's why exposure. Last time when I visited here, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Academy, I suggested to the director to send frequent teams to England to study cyber crimes, how they are doing, how the policing is there. They don't carry weapons. Experiences. So one has to learn from others' experience and then understand the challenges and then come out with responses to those challenges. This is where you need skill upgradation. So not only joining service and becoming IPS and getting a posting, even after posting also, there has to be regular upgradation of skills for the officers. That's why this academy is not only training the beginners, but also periodical this thing. That is also required. Innovative programs in collaboration with the community will help police functions more effectively. Grassroots level intelligence will further improve with the participation of community policing as partners. You must appear as a friend of the people. Police is a friend of the people. Police, I am, bhag ke gaya. Nobody need to fear. They need to fear the law. And then policeman is coming means our friend is coming, our guide is coming, our protector is coming. That is like a doctor is coming, no? You will get some confidence. Can you see doctor if you are not sick? If you are sick. Same thing, police also. They must be assured. Or the others also should be frightened. I am a lawbreaker, what is going to happen to me? So this sort of atmosphere we have to create, and we must change the image of the police service. I am comparatively better placed in my views about police force at the upper level. But at the lower level, at ordinary police level, you have to change the attitude. You have to change mentality. We have to change and improve their service conditions also. I pity them sometimes. As vice president, I go around and then I see people on the duty on the road and for hours together standing there, poor fellows and all. But we should also make them sensitive and also realize that they should live up to the expectations of the people by providing them good opportunities, good recognition, and also good encouragement to the lower level cadre. Because at the end of the day, they will be people who are working in the field. You should value learning and continuously upgrade your professional knowledge. Your learning should also encompass acquiring soft skills like effective listening, empathy, team building, and stress management. Often the complaint is, sir, he has not even heard my view, sir. Turant, he started reacting and all. The best thing is hear him, show some empathy, and then sympathy. Then you will get his sympathy, support. Then he will start cooperating with you. You must create confidence by raising standards, and then that creates credibility of the system. The system has to be transparent. The system has to be accountable. Who is accountable for something going wrong? That should be immediately told to the people. This has happened, this person is responsible. If you take years together and then months together and then I set up a committee that will decide that people will lose the confidence in the system. Friends, Swami Vivekananda once said that he looked forward to the day when our young men and women would be possessing, quote, muscles of iron and nerves of steel and a mind made of such stuff of which thunderbolts are made, unquote. I hope that you will personify the vision of Swami Vivekananda. There is a serious trust deficit between the public and the police in our country. It is a fact. We must understand that. Police is seen as the last option by the people. The general saying is that one is lucky if one is not required to going to the police station. Instead, police should emerge as the first option to go. In the case of any problem, young police officers should endeavor to create such a situation. When I became MLA at the very young age of 28 years, the police officers came and met me of that constituency those days. So then I told them only one thing. During my tenure, please see to it that there is no need for me to come to police station in favor of anybody. That means if somebody is coming to me and saying something, means that is something wrong with you. If they are not coming to me and I am not forced to come to your station, that means you are doing well. That's all. I am nothing interested in any other things. You do your duty. That's the advice I have given. And in 5 years, rarely there was only one occasion when there was a lock-up death, which was denied and then which I raised in assembly, then finally that man was punished. Otherwise, there is no reason and people were, by and large, the police administration also was happy. Later, of course, political interference is increasing in the services. That's what people are complaining. Those days and present day situation is a little different. But at the same time, you do your duty. Now, what else you can do? Maximum is that they will transfer you to some other place. What is it you are going to lose? Loss will be theirs. If they lose a good officer, it will be loss of the district, if the loss of that system. Nothing more than that. If you are upright, if you are straightforward, if you are doing your work and work is worship for you, nothing can stop you. Friends, there has to be human touch for everything. The way the lower level constabulary and officials deal with public need to be vastly improved. Young officers should provide effective leadership roles in this regard. I am sure you are being told about this as part of this basic training. Police at all levels should know how to smile while dealing with the public. An element of civility in our interaction with the general public infuses a certain degree of comfort and confidence among the people. That's why the police can emerge as the preferred and first choice of the people who come to you in the times of need and for redressal of their grievances. Further, to the report of the National Police Commission in 1977, several initiatives are being taken to reform the police forces with the goal of ensuring policing with a human face. The Prime Minister has given an advice to the country. He gave a 3-line advice. He said reform, perform and transform. Every system, every walk of life, there is a need for transformation, for speedy growth of the country, advancement of our knowledge and also must enhance the opportunities service to the people. Service to the people. Delivery system must be improved. Delivery of justice must be improved. I have seen in some states now they are coming for the service, Loka Seva Guarantee Act. Loka Seva itself is an act. They are now bringing an act, Loka Seva Guarantee Act. I studied that. If you don't do your duty within 10 days, the higher up can take you action against you. And then this much is the penalty, like that and all. The very fact that is necessary, that means people are not doing their duty. The other day, Prime Minister gave an advice in one of his Man Ki Baat. He said, let everybody do their duty. Simple. Let everybody do their duty, from PM to CM to lower level DM, from commissioner to DG to AG to PG, all, let everybody do it their duty, then things will automatically improve. That's why there is a behavioral change that is required. There is a mindset that has to be changed. The transformation which is being talked by the Prime Minister is about the attitudinal change, mindset change. Bill Gates met me some time back when I was Minister for Urban Development and dealing with Swachh Bharat. PM told me, Venkaiah ji, don't make this as a political program, don't make it as a government program. सरकारी कार्यक्रम नहीं बनाना चाहिए, इसको राजनीतिक रूप नहीं देना चाहिए. मेरे मन में शंका आया, सरकारी कार्यक्रम नहीं है, राजनीतिक कार्यक्रम नहीं तो है क्या? तुरंत उन्होंने कहा इसको एक जन आंदोलन का रूप देना चाहिए. People's involvement is very vital, and Mr. Bill Gates is supporting our sanitation program. He met me and told me, Mr. Naidu, what is important is not the funds. What is important is the change of mindset. Because some of us in the beginning, we used to feel happy and you go toilet outside, relax. That was mindset, na? Arey, toilet, chota kamre mein jana, kya hai, vagera. But his effects of it. Gandhiji said 116 years back, and he went to Banaras University, he said sanitation is more important than political freedom. See the powerful statement. Sanitation is more important than political freedom. This is what Gandhiji has said. And we also, in our Shastras, our elders also tell us, Arogyame Mahabhagyamu. Health is wealth. If your health is good, then you can acquire wealth. But there is no guarantee if you acquire wealth, your health will be all right. A lot of people are suffering. They have huge amount of money, but they can't eat even a sweet because diabetic. So we have to take care of the health. For that mindset, Swachh Bharat, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or the demonetization, or Jana Dhana Yojana, or a lot of other DBT, direct benefit transfer, putting money directly to the people's account. All these things are reforms in that direction. We should also, in our level, and on biometrics, some people, one politician told me, sir, because of your government decision, we were the beneficiaries. That politician told. Why? He said, all government employees voted against you and voted in favor of us. He told me, one politician of Delhi at that time. That may be temporary, but at the same time, I have seen myself as a minister. Initially, they may think, what this minister is not going out till late in the night, he is sitting here and what he is doing. Once they realize that you are doing something good, you have a commitment, they start cooperating with you. They start cooperating with you. So you need to prove, first of all, that you are committed, you are honest, you are sincere, and you want to do something, you want to bring some changes, then others will follow. What is required is some sort of dialogue, some sort of counseling. That's why I am stressing it time and again. Counseling in democracy is very much required. Friends, the 19th century police reforms in Britain is often held as mirror in many conversations on police reforms. They create an independent police force, thereby bestowing the police with the legitimacy to maintain order. The police in the United Kingdom do not carry arms, but they are equipped with the most potent weapons of policing, the consent of the people for policing society. This is also very important. Over the years, we politicians, the other day I was also a politician, we made the people to think that everything will be done by the government. Sab kaam sarkar karega, hum bekar baithe to chalega. What can a police officer do if somebody is not coming forward and tell them truth what he has seen? So you need to involve people also in that. Police officers need to be equipped with strategic thinking for seeing the broader picture and the context of policing in diverse countries like India. A parallel can be drawn to the United States of Army's realization after Vietnam War, and their military leaders need knowledge of history, sociology, and internal relations for more than proficiency at a tactical platoon level drill. The diversity of challenge for a graduate of the US military academy today ranges from South China Sea to the mountains of Afghanistan and the streets of Mosul in Iraq. When our current generation of police chiefs were trained at the National Police Academy, computers and mobile phones were not in great circulation. No academy could have prepared them for the jobs they do today. The way the US Military Academy trains them by focusing on strategic thinking and even encouraging their graduates to go on long study programs to maintain their intellectual edge through their careers. This is how they came to head the army and intelligence setups and play a pivotal role as equal partners with foreign policy and security establishments in deciding on the role of the US in a changing world. IPS has produced great people like Rustomji, R.N. Rao, B.N. Mullik, Ashwini Kumar, J.F. Ribeiro, KPS Gill, and so on. Two national security advisors, Mr. K.R. Narayanan, Ajay Doval, have come from your ranks. I expect you to rise to such heights. Professionalism, objectivity, and independence of mind shall guide in discharge of your duties and responsibilities. Policing should be kept off political interference. Police officers should maintain a safe distance from politicians and be seen more with the people. People should not go to politicians before they decide to come to police station. This is what is happening now. Because they feel political influence is going to prevail. That's why first they go to politicians. And some politicians are also enjoying it. That is not their duty. So friends, my youngsters, I once again convey my best wishes to all of you. I wish you a very bright and promising career in the service of the people of this largest democracy. India is on the move. The entire world is looking towards India today. Once again, India is being recognized and respected worldwide. You might have seen the World Bank report, World Economic Forum report, even ADB report. Today is also Moody's ratings. Moody's ratings, not Modi, Moody's ratings also indicate that there is a bright future for our economy. And we are likely to become a strong and stable economy. First they said 7th place in the world economy. Then they said you may, at the end of the day, you may reach 3rd place. So that's the future. When economy and prosperity increases, there are bound to be problems also. So keeping that in mind, technology also, we have no technology. Now the social media, internet, that's another major problem now for the crimes. We are all seeing how things are happening. We must update our skills, upgrade our skills, and then try to find out what is happening, who is who and all. As I told you, this social media has a positive side and also a negative side. It is spoiling some of our children. It is spoiling some of our children. And one way, it is giving information. It is exposing people because there is no censorship by the editor or by the management. But at the same time, it is going haywire sometimes. You have seen how social media also to some extent have dealt with the death of an actress in the last 2-3 days. So we have to be alive to the situations. We have to be alive to the situations. We must acquire new technologies. And we must go by the experiences. We must also strategize. What will be the strategy of the lawbreaker? We must strategize that. I remember the Prime Minister, when we were discussing about demonetization, he said, we are planning this and nobody is allowed to go out till a particular time. And he said, this is a strategy session, but the others also will be strategizing how to counter this. How to counter this. That's why you have seen now, first some people said, what is this Janadhana Yojana? लोगों के पास पैसा है नहीं, बैंक में कौन डालेगा? Today you have 60 crore bank accounts. And most of the people who are ridiculing the system, they realized बैंक अकाउंट का कितना महत्व है. उनको नवंबर 8 तारीख को 2016 में याद आया, समझ में आया, अरे इम्पॉर्टेंट. देन दे स्टार्ट आस्किंग ड्राइवर, कुक, सर्वेंट, भाई आपके पास बैंक अकाउंट है क्या? थोड़ी दिन के लिए मैं रख सकता हूँ क्या? Other methods. And some people are saying, sir, entire money has come back to the system. I feel personally, I don't want to get into political controversy because let them discuss and debate. They have got every right in a democracy. But the पैसा बैंक में वापस आया. कुछ लोग कह रहे सर पूरा पैसा बैंक में वापस आया सर. मैंने कहा वही है, लक्ष्य वही था ना. पूरा पैसा जो बेड के नीचे थे, पिल्लू को नीचे थे, बाथरूम में थे, वो पैसा बैंक में पहुंचना है. पहुंच गया. उसमें कितना व्हाइट है, कितना ब्लैक है, वो तो रिजर्व बैंक को बताना पड़ेगा लोगों को क्रेडिबिलिटी के लिए. मगर पैसा सिस्टम में आया. सिस्टम में आने से क्या फायदा है सर? किसी ने मेरे से पूछा. मैंने कहा भाई 16 months back what was the bank interest rate? What is the bank interest rate today? Bank interest rate is 8.25 for some activities and then below 10% for some activities. What was it earlier? 12%, 14%. पैसा आया बैंक में, बैंक वाले देख रहे कौन लेने वाले है, अच्छा आदमी कौन है. So that is the system. If you improve the system And if you tighten the system, there will be initially some problems. There will be some furor also. There will be some furor also. But at the same time, you must always convince the people, convince yourself, temporary pain for long-term gain. That's the philosophy behind the reforms. And there is no other substitute for hard work. Hard work. And every day, I suggest to you, this is my last advice to you, I conclude by saying this. Every day, do what others have done, what even I have done. What I do is, I can speak from my experience, every day before going to bed, of course I speak to my wife or children, because most of the time I'm not at home. As I told you, I have covered more than 600 districts in this life. मेरा बेटी भी शिकायत करते, कभी कभी बताते हमारा पिताजी कभी कभी हमारा घर भी आते हैं ऐसा. Because I used to travel till I became vice president. Of course, now also I'm traveling. What I used to do is, I used to analyze what I have done today, what I have said today. Is there any better method than that? Have I gone wrong? Then I think about it and then sleep. So that I can have correctives myself, instead of somebody telling me, somebody highlighting it. Do it yourself. If you are satisfied with what you have done and understand the challenge before you, then you will excel better. Thank you very much. All the best. God bless you all.